Economic Recovery and Jobs Program.
Before we turn it over to the audience for questions, I want to know if any of the panelists have any other thoughts on others of the specific proposals here. And Professor Owen Herrnstadt, who is supposed to be a member of the panel, whether is
here.
Yeah. I just wanted to know whether you had any thoughts of your own. Professor Herrnstadt is the director of the Department of International Affairs at the International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers, the AFL-CIO, as well as an adjunct professor of law at Georgetown. Any thoughts, Professor?
Can I give you a mic, Owen? Oh, you got it? There's one right there.
I'm going to hide back in the corner here. Thank you. I must confess, when you said Professor Herrnstadt, I was looking around the room for my father, knowing that he'd be here. On that, just a couple very quick things. One, I really do want to thank Leo and the New America Foundation for all their work on this. Not only is it timely, but it's critical. I think it goes without saying that we're in a crisis. It's urgent. We can ill afford to spend all of our time getting more studies done and kind of sifting and winnowing. The answers are here, and we just have to act, and act as the senator mentioned, by showing true leadership in and out of government. A couple quick points. One is on one of the recommendations that has been discussed, and on one of them that hasn't. The one on Buy America is obviously a critical one. I think we were all shocked the pushback that many of us received when we were trying to get Buy America locked into the Recovery Act on that. I think we were a little shocked about the pushback on that because it was seen as being protest, and Representative Garamendi, I couldn't agree with you more. We would like to call it industrial policy. We'd like to call it national and economic security on that, and I don't think there's anything to hide behind that. But when we're talking about Buy America, we're not only talking about buying goods that are produced here in America using U.S. supplies and raw materials, but we also have to ask ourselves that the taxpayer would be shocked to learn some things we consider to be domestically made only have 51% domestic content in them. Now, if you were to ask most folks down the street, or even maybe some folks at the Federal Trade Commission, what does made in the USA mean, it would mean an entirely different thing. It would mean really made here in the U.S. The second part is there's no really uniform guidelines throughout government on defining what is domestic content. Some would be shocked to learn that intangible items like, the value of intellectual property rights and so forth are figured in some cases, to determining what domestic content is. And those things should be low-hanging fruit, and it would be interesting to see those who actually oppose that, particularly when we see unemployment as high as it is. It should be a low-hanging fruit to make sure that our government procurement employs people here. The second related recommendation goes to the issue of employment impact statements. Well, we've got environmental impact statements. They've been around. They've been tested for a long time. It doesn't appear that many government agencies have incorporated a simple question when letting out a contract, an award, whether it's for a huge military issue like the tanker deal or even smaller ones, to simply ask the question, how many direct jobs is this going to create in the U.S., kind of jobs will be created, and how long will those jobs last? These are simple questions that should be factored into all of this. And if they were, at least it would give policymakers and our fine political leaders that are up on the panel much more information that they can consider when they fund government programs, when they fund procurement, and so forth. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Owen. Well, now I'd like to open it up to the audience.
Michael?
Oh, go ahead, Senator, please,
Just one
before we do that.
Short thing I wanted to mention. When we're thinking about two things on the infrastructure bank, it's got to be an investment that is in addition to, but not a substitute for, the level of federal government grant levels that we have right now. I still think we need some pay-go as we go along with gasoline taxes and other things like that. So we have to be careful that they don't say, well, we're going to do that. Now we don't have to spend any federal money whatsoever on the infrastructure. That's just one thing. Secondly, to really invest in long-term infrastructure projects, you need what others and I have referred to as patient capital. Capital is not looking to spin over in a hurry. Here is a place where we can get really a twofer. My committee has been having a series of hearings I started a little over a year and a half ago on what's happening to pensions in America and the fact that people are losing their pensions at an alarming rate. Which started in the 80s when we shifted from defined benefits to defined contributions, 401ks, so everybody could have their 401ks and take it with them, and it all sounded so nice and good and everything like that. But it has decimated any kind of a pension system. In other words, something that you can rely on until you die. 401ks, we know now about 2 out of 3 people that have 401ks that are going to be approaching retirement within the next 20 years do not have sufficient money to last them their lifetimes. A lot of people are taking out lump sums of $100,000 thinking, I'm now rich, but they don't have any kind of retirement. One out of every 4 persons in America today of working age have absolutely zero amount of money in a pension. Zero. So we need to rejuvenate the pension system so that we have more of a defined benefit program. We can build a hybrid system so that it's portable, so you can move around no matter where you go. You have a system like that. But that then provides you with patient capital, capital that can be invested for long periods of time. And that's where the infrastructure bank and others can go to get that kind of capital. And guess what? Voila. Now you have a pension system that will pay back to people later on in life a pension. So I hope that we can keep that in mind about the benefit of a defined benefit pension plan.
Well, unless there are any further thoughts right now, we'll take some questions. Yes, sir, right over here.
My name is Martin Apple from the Council